Hey guys, how's it going? So I thought I'd do a quick video on the big FAQ 1 of 2018 for Warhammer 40,000 and see how it will affect my Grey Knights and Imperial Guard. So we will start off with Psychic Focus. Exception of Smite, each psychic power can be attempted once per turn rather than once per Psyker per turn. Same as normal. In addition, unless the Psyker attempts to manifest Smite has either the Brotherhood of Psyker, which is the Grey Knights, or Brotherhood of Sorcerer, which is 1,000 Suns, you must add 1 to the warp charge value of Smite each attempt, whether successful or not, that has been made to manifest Smite during a given psychic phase to a maximum warp charge value of 11. They give an example at the bottom. I just don't really need to read out, it's pretty self-explanatory. I did trial the beta rules with my Grey Knights when I first saw them, and it didn't affect them a great deal because of the +1 to casting. So I think it's okay. It's a bit of a buff for Grey Knights and 1,000 Suns, I suppose, compared to everybody else. But we only do 1 damage. But obviously it's a big help when we're going against demons. This won't affect my Imperial Guard army at the moment, as I only have 1 Psyker. So next we have the targeting character rule, which is no longer beta now. It's come into effect. This affects everybody. Okay, let's move on. So now, beta match play rules. So these are the rules they want to test out, and they may come into effect either next FAQ or next chapter approved, I'm not quite sure. So the big one here for Grey Knights is tactical reserves. So I'm not sure if the wording is slightly changed here for tactical reserves, but I'll read it out anyway, and then we know what's going on. So instead of being set up on the battlefield during deployment, many units have the ability to be set up on the teleportarium, in high orbit, in reserve, etc., in order to arrive on the battlefield mid-game as reinforcements. When setting up your army during deployment for a match play game, at less than half the total number of units in your army must be set up on the battlefield, and the combined power rating of all these units you set up on the battlefield during deployment, including those that are embarked within transports that are set up on the battlefield, must be at least half of your army's total power level, even if every unit in your army has an ability that would allow them to be set up elsewhere. Furthermore, in match play games, any units that arrive on the battlefield during a player's first turn must be deployed wholly within the controlling player's deployment zone, even if its ability would normally let it be set up anywhere. This does not apply to the Genestealer cults, ambush ability, and also forward operatives or strike from the shadow stratagems, so that's your scouts and units similar to that, it will not affect. Finally, any unit that has not arrived on the battlefield by the end of the 3rd battle round in a match play game counts as being destroyed. That is as normal. So the changes are going to be here if this does come into effect, is that now we have to calculate the power level of your army, even in match play. You can only deep strike half the power level of your force. So yeah, I'm not sure if that will affect the Grey Knights too much, but it may do. I've never done that before, so we will see when I add up the power levels. Yeah, also I think this is giving the advantage back to the shooting armies, because even though I can maybe possibly Gate of Infinity 1 unit up there if I go first turn 1, many other armies don't have that ability. Even still, you're putting 1 unit out by themselves with no backup. So basically, yeah, you give the advantage back to the shooting army in 2 ways. One, they can't deep strike in their deployment zone, so they're going to get an extra turn of shooting at my units that I would normally deep strike, because they would obviously be in my deployment zone now. But if I was to wait off until turn 2, it gives them more time to manoeuvre their army up the board to block more of the board off, so that effectively I would have to deep strike in my deployment zone anyway turn 2. So yeah, not liking that. I will try it out and see how it does affect me during the game. Obviously this is just me reading it now and thinking about it, but yeah, I think that could have a massive effect on the Grey Knights. On the other hand, I think this is good news for the Imperial Guard. There'll be definitely less turn 1 charges against your tanks, and if you're smart about deployment, as I said before, you could slowly move up in your turn 1 and block even more of the board off from assaulting armies with lots of deep striking. So let's move on to the Battle Brothers beta rule. So Battle Brothers. All of the units in each detachment in your Battleforged army must have at least one faction keyword in common. In addition, this keyword cannot be Chaos, Imperium, Aldari, Inari or Tyranids, unless the detachment in question is a fortification network. This has no effect on your army faction. There are a few units that this won't affect. Let's look at the ones for the Imperium. So it's Legion of the Damned, and the Null Maidens, the Assassins, a few from the Index, and a few from Eldari and Ynnari. But if we just look at the Assassins one, I'll read that out to you quickly. So this applies to all the Assassins. Add the following ability: Execution Force. So as long as your Warlord is from the Imperium, you can include this unit in a Vanguard detachment, even if the detachment contains no HQ units. However, if you do so, the detachment's command benefit are changed to none. That basically allows you to put some of the units from the Imperium, like the Index Imperium 1 and 2, which don't have maybe a full range for an army. But yeah, this is not going to affect me, I don't think, at all if it comes into effect, as I always put my Grey Knights and Imperial Guard into different detachments anyway to gain the benefits. So we'll now move on to the interim balance review. Basically, they have changed the battalion detachment to now have 5 command points and the brigade detachment to have 12. So obviously this is going to help when taking battalions, have a lot more command points to spend. So let's take a quick look at organised events. One change here. They are now suggesting that you limit the number of times you take a data sheet. So for a 1 to 2,000 point game, they are suggesting that you only take 3. This does not include troops or dedicated transport. I think this is a good idea. It might stop spamming. It's not going to affect any of my games. It won't affect how I build my Grey Knights or Imperial Guard, but it's a good idea. I can see why they've done it. There are a few points changes at the end of the FAQ, 2 for Astra Militarum units, Commissar, Lord Commissar and Slime Arbo, but that won't affect me as I don't use them. I had a quick look through the Astra Militarum FAQ, which I think was updated today, and I've noticed that they've definitely said that the Relic of Lost Cadia can only be used once per game, and they've also changed the wording to the take cover stratagem, because people were using it for other units that were not Astra Militarum, but now it specifically states it's only for Astra Militarum. But nothing else in there which I think is going to affect me a great deal. Anyway guys, so that's the end of the quick run through of the big FAQ 1 of 2018 and how I think it will affect the Grey Knights and Imperial Guard. Has this FAQ had an effect on your army? Do you think I've missed anything in regards to the Grey Knights and Imperial Guard? And what's your thoughts on the beta rules? Will you be using them? Have you used them in the past? As always guys, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.